Welcome to From the Ashes, the Dungeon Crawler Network podcast, all about Ashes of Creation by Intrepid Studios. Bear witness to the rebirth of the MMORPG genre from the ashes of an industry that has left the gamers behind. I'm Aggelos, founder of Dungeon Crawler Network, and we are coming to you live from the Mighty Beard Tavern, and I'm joined by my amazing co-host, Alpha Soul. How are you?
I'm doing great. Should be a fun day.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good day. We also got Crowjack.
I will say here, first and foremost, you heard it here first. Aggelos has said that he likes a set of elven armor. Confirmed.
Done.
You'll find out in this episode.
This will also be the last episode of From... No. We got a fun show planned for you guys with our 99th episode of From the Ashes. We are getting close to that big old mythical 100, which is a pretty big feat when it comes to MMO podcasts. Well, actually, podcasts.
Do we have anything planned for episode 100? Any cool plans? Any cool thoughts?
Maybe. I can't share everything until I can confirm. That's why I'm not going to do that. But if you as a listener are interested in sharing some of your thoughts about the past 100 episodes and 2 years of talking about a game that hasn't come out yet, even if it's just, guys, you wasted 2 years talking about a game that's not out yet.
It's true.
Yeah.
Feel free to get a hold of us, whether Discord, Twitter, send us an email, do all that. Contact at dungeoncrawlernetwork.com. I'd love to hear from some people who are listening because that's pretty cool. All right, but we do have a fun show planned and a lot of stuff to talk about. Alpha Soul's favorite pet is making an appearance.
That's right.
Sweet. And we can't get it anymore.
Did you buy it?
I've got it.
Well, yeah. Alpha's got it. I don't know. It's been a long time since the Kickstarter. There's been lots of cosmetics every month. I missed this one.
I'm pretty sure I got that one. I rarely buy pits, but I did like that courier, so I'm pretty sure I got it. I check my account while we're talking.
Just to double check.
Yeah.
Understood there. We also got a brand new bunch of shade coming from those elves. Lots of shade there. But we do got this month's new cosmetics, and we also had the July 27th live stream, and there was a lot of good information out of that live stream. So we'll be doing all of that stuff for you tonight. But before we do any of that, I definitely got to give a special shout out to our newest patron supporters over at patreon.com/Dungeon Crawler Network. That will be Michael D and Dr. Whodat 219.
Dr. Whodat.
Dr. Who. She's actually a streamer for ESO. She's really cool lady. Fantastic person to interact with. I talk to her a lot on Twitter. So if you want to check out her streams, you should definitely do that as well. She's very entertaining, and she does like ESO. So if that's also something you enjoy watching, definitely check her out. Only sad part is she plays on PS4, so, console peasant. Yeah. Well, you can't do everything, so. All right, let's go ahead and jump right on into the show. First up, we've got the new blog post. Again, everything we talk about in this show, if you are listening along on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, all that fun stuff like that, it will be a hyperlink in the description of the show. Look that up. Not while you're driving. Please don't do that. And if you're a podcast listener, there's a link on the very bottom of every post that takes you back to our website. YouTube hates hyperlinks, at least, making them pretty. I don't want to post the entire URLs because they're often ugly and gross. So I just put one link back to the actual original blog post. So definitely check that out. So I guess first off, we should look at this courier pet. They actually did do a pretty cool looking video for this, so I'm going to actually have that up in the background if I know what I'm doing, which I may or may not, who knows. And we'll see this pet. Do you actually have this pet now, Alpha Soul?
I don't think so.
Oh,
is
no.
is it called
See-
Courier?
Yeah, I do
Yes.
believe.
Well, no. I mean, in the store,
Yeah.
is it called Courier? If it is, then I don't think I have it. I'm looking around. I don't see it.
Again, we talked about this last week. Because they've made the animations for this and shown you it like rolling around the ground and stuff, it makes everyone want to buy it, but they're animating something that was already for sale and no longer for sale. The smart thing is to animate the stuff coming out. So we see it and we go, oh, that's amazing. I must buy it. Hey, it's in the store. Money, 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 money.
Well, will it get them more money though? If now you see it and it's good, you see something in the future, are you more likely to buy more things that you haven't seen? You know,
So then you're
with that
gambling.
mindset.
You're hoping it's on the same level of animation and same
It
level
is.
of coolness.
It is a gamble. Yes.
Gamble. Or they can get on their butts, get their butts in gear, and get the stuff out ASAP and give us the stuff in advance to entice us to throw money at them.
I'm in your camp.
Yeah.
Camp, believe me.
Now, the animations for this thing, especially when they showed it off, it was pretty impressive right off the bat. Like when it was one of the very few times that I seen the Twitch chat excited.
Oh, they were all the entire chat was going nuts with Pogger faces and everything. They were so excited.
And I see our chat, Hypercore Ripper has no idea about what kind of animal this really is, but it's a, what is it called? A pangolin?
Pangolin. Yeah.
Pangolin. Yeah.
They are unfortunately like hunted like crazy.
Aren't they popular pets? Like legitly popular exotic pets?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, I just saw its death animation. That should make everyone feel terrible.
Lol.
All that reminds me of, and for anyone who plays Final Fantasy, any of the Final Fantasy games, does anyone remember Final Fantasy 12 with their hunt system?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
There was one hunt in particular where you have to fight like the big evil dark bunny, and it's one of those cute little bouncing puff balls. And when you kill it, it falls over, and one lone tear falls off of its eye. You felt like a horrible, horrible person. Like, just absolutely terrible, because this thing just, like, falls over, and one lone tear just falls from its eye, and you're like, I'm a monster!
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is out there. They actually do have a good bit of lore. I'm not going to go over about what the lore is for this thing, because you should go out and read it. It is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm definitely excited for this. And actually, you know, if I didn't have like 900 layers of two-factor authentication, I would be able to look this up very, very quickly. But unfortunately, that's not the case. I don't think I bought this one.
I don't think I did either.
I really don't think I did. But I didn't really care for it as much as some. I mean, it was definitely a cool-looking pet. I had nothing against it. But I also really wasn't buying much of anything when it came to cosmetics from them at all.
Yeah, I'm not. I got my Kickstarter stuff, and that has me excited. Other than that, I've not spent additional money yet.
Gotcha.
The only time I think I spent additional money is outside the Kickstarter was I also got all the summer stuff. But I was still on that Kickstarter high. So when they did the summer backing, I also threw money at that. Up until then, the only other thing that I actually bought was I did buy the entire set when they came out with the Protectors set.
Yeah.
Way back. It was the armor is what I really got it for, but it had that very temple-like freehold. A pretty cool looking shield, a few other things, and then. Sky's Vengeance. And then I bought the Swiftclaw mount because it was the Raptor. And the Watcher of the Woods pet, which is that weird four-legged owl thing, because I thought that was adorable and I wanted it. Nope? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for the back and forth, guys. Yeah.
Well,
I had nothing else to add, and I'm sitting there going, oh, this silence is going on for a long time. Maybe I should say something. Okay, nope. Someone else say something.
Someone else will say. Someone else will step up, clearly. Anyway.
Nope, didn't happen.
No, it definitely didn't. It definitely didn't. But that's okay, because guess what? We're going to go ahead and transition right into the what else are you going to buy thing, because they actually did release their new set of cosmetics for this month.
For the first time, I'm excited to throw money because that armor is phenomenal.
It is. This is the Groves of Slumbering Shade. Now, before we get into too much of this, actually, you know what? No, we're not. We're going to show it, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. So first up, we've got the accessory piece, which you can see here on the screen. Or again, if you are listening to the audio-only version, there will be a link that you can follow along with in the description. We got the Soothe Root Satchel. This satchel looks like it's leather, but it has like little pieces.
Herbs.
Yeah, it's like it's supposed to represent leaves, but this is like the quintessential alchemist satchel.
Yeah, druidic alchemist. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
I actually really like this, and I'll probably end up getting this too. Actually, what's really sad is as I'm looking through some of these, I'm like, I'm only going to buy one, and I think I'm up to 2 right now.
Yeah.
And we'll see how I feel after the end of this. I don't really know. We'll see. But I'm also torn in my heart, and you'll see why. The description of this says, the wealth of Empyreans possess a natural affinity for the healing arts, and this ruinous world is ever wanting of their graceful benediction. Okay, first off, elves definitely don't have any of that. All right, take it back.
Any graceful benediction?
Say what the elves do and do not have.
Elves are terrible. Anyway, the satchel's more potent concoctions are derived from sacred groves themselves, as the heightened presence of divinity there imbues the flora with great power.
This sounds just like you.
I hate you so much.
You know what? I'm going to convince 3/4 of our guild to roll elf just to spite you. You know, the more you talk about,
I actually don't think you have to convince them.
I probably don't.
Yeah,
I probably don't. No, they're
already
going to
open
go
insurrection.
Everyone's like all in on Talnar, man.
We don't even know anything about the Tolnar. And
I know.
The thing is, the common misconception with Tolnar is the thing that they always link for Tolnar were actually monster descriptions, not Tolnar descriptions. So you're looking and go, look at all these things that Tolnar can beat. Those were actually supposed to be monsters in the world, not Tolnar.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. Next up, we've got the mini pet, the little pet that goes with this. And this one is called the Servant of the Soil. Now, I'm going to put this one up here on the podcast for everyone to actually see. I actually kind of like him. He's a wooden
this guy.
Trent. Yeah.
This guy's cool.
He's like a
What is up with the legs? I don't get
Short
it.
legs.
itty bitty legs, little baby legs,
And it has to be by design. Like all the strength from his legs went to his arms. Look how big his forearms and wrists and hands are.
Unless his pet's like the size of you or something.
Servant
It's
of
like
the
gorilla.
Soil.
This dude needs to walk like a gorilla.
Yeah, he skips leg day every time. Yep.
Yeah.
He is the poster child for skipping leg day and focusing on forearms. So pretty much all he does is kettlebells. That's it.
Yep.
That is it. Anyway, the world outside can be fraught with all manner of danger, seen or unseen. Thus, before venturing beyond the reaches of their home, an Empyrean traveler will befriend and invite a willing spirit of the wood to accompany them through the vassal of bark and vine. A friend is born, and many Empyreans attest to their worldly optimism, to their personal servant of the soil's presence, reminding them of that which they hold most dear. How is it supposed to follow them on the itty bitty little legs?
So, this is a pet, which is too bad. I would much rather see this as a giant Trent in the woods that moves like a gorilla and plants its hands into the ground and then like drags its feet forward and moves like that, but very slowly and very hulking in the middle of the woods.
10 to 1 says we do see that, something like that.
That'd be a boss that looks like that would be so cool.
Yeah.
The one thing they even said, and we can actually talk about this, is when they showed the Quarrier pet, and everyone's like, when can I buy it? And they're like, oh, sorry, you can't. Margaret, who's in chat, had mentioned that, don't worry, they'll still appear in the world. So there's a good chance we'll see these as...
things you can kill.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There, Margaret Chrome with the confirmation.
There you go.
Yep.
See?
She has confirmed
There you
in
go.
our chat that all these creatures will also have NPC variants. So
So you have your treant charging at you.
Yeah, big,
There you go.
I
big
hope so.
slamming fists.
yeah, because definitely not the legs. But yeah, she's scolding me for body shaming the Trent right now. But come on, look at those things. It's a little baby.
They don't look like
Yeah.
they should be able to support the weight of the body. Like,
right? Like he's just gonna fall. Like they're gonna snap like little twigs that they are. And he's just gonna fall flat on his face.
but they won't because magic.
Magic.
Magic. There you go.
Yep.
Speaking of something that never skips leg day, what is it with Intrepid jacking all of their mounts?
Hey, they gotta be strong, man.
They
gotta
do.
be strong.
The stag of the bowels, are in this case stag of the leg day. Because look at those muscles.
Man,
Fear the deer.
Fear the deer, especially with
I
horns
like
like
the
that.
moss growing on the horns. Looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I actually do really, really like this mount. I think it's pretty neat. Again, all it reminds me of is the wood elf Thranduil from the first episode, or from the first
Yes.
season, or
Yes.
first movie of The Hobbit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he rides in on a little elk. I like this. I like it a lot. All right, mounts there. Let's go ahead and talk about the thing that we're probably, all
Yeah, the whole
here
reason
for.
that we're talking about
Yeah, and the whole reason why I'm really conflicted personally.
Yeah.
There we got a new armor set, which is called Titan Bark Mail.
these. So good.
Okay, so I have to admit, when I saw this at my first glance, I was like, man, Aggelos is gonna love this. But then I saw the little branches that
the
are off,
wood and the trees
Yeah, the little
and the vines.
shoes
and,
in the woods, and I didn't know what I thought you would think about it after that.
This is the level of fantasy that I like. Because the armor is still practical.
Overlapping plate, scale, leather straps.
Yes, it is still practical and could. And you know what? When I first saw this, and I know it's supposed to be bark or whatever, but when I saw that, the only thing I thought of was Renly Baratheon from Game of Thrones with his little stag armor.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Because if you were a king or a very, very wealthy individual, you could afford this. And actually, if you look at some of the more historical armors, there was some very elegant pieces, like wicked decorated, inlaid with gold, all sorts of stuff. Of course, only people who could afford that were kings and dukes and things of that nature. But this is a level of fantasy that I like. It is, a little embellished, but
Dude.
not so much that you're like it wouldn't function.
This would be perfect for the elite guard of the inner sanctum of Gondor,
That's
The
the first
tree
thing I
on the
thought,
tabard?
too. Yes.
right?
Yes.
You changed up, make it the white tree instead of the black tree. The black tabards have it could literally be like the inner sanctum guard, like the elite guards of Gondor in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, no, that's what I thought the exact same thing, minus the helm. But no, this is a level of armor that, yes, I'm actually probably going to end up buying this, which makes me a little sad.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna get this one too. Although I'm gonna throw some shade at Intrepid's
Tree.
way. So I'm seeing all these armors, I'm seeing all these sets come out, and none of them pander to what I'm going to my class. Rogues, where's the rogue armor? Where's the fancy leathers? Where's the where's the the armor for the people who do it from behind, right?
Fair enough.
Instead, all we get is this plate and this mage armor, which is nice.
Well,
but
actually, if you think about it, they did the set that I bought the woodland pet from. The owl actually had a set of armor that was like rangery. It was like leather hoods and stuff like that.
But he doesn't want ranger.
Yeah.
He wants thief. He wants rogue. He wants shadow stalker. He wants dark and like in the shadows gonna rob you kind of stuff going on.
I'm trying to remember that set that Aggelos is talking about. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, go pull it up, and you'll see. Just look for what pet did I say that I had? Oh, look,
It was the owl, right?
Yeah, Watcher of the Woods is the pet that I had talked about. So if you go to any of the wikis and look that up, it would actually be part of
that
one cosmetic set. It was made in June.
Oh yeah, okay. So that was a cloak. I know what you're talking about. I actually did get that. It was part of the but that's not like leather armor.
But there was more to it than that. I'm sure there was more to it than that. Because if you look through all the previous sets, there was a costume that went with it because the cloak was an accessory. Remember, there's always an accessory. I shouldn't say always, but it's a small item, the accessory.
Oh yeah, you're right.
A pet, a mount, a freehold, and then a costume. Sometimes the mount could be a boat skin or something like that, but I'm almost positive there was a... Oh, it's called Sentinel's Hide is what it was called.
Hide. All right.
I'll actually post that in chat as well for people to see. And I see chat asking, is Aggelos just going to play a human in Ashes? Yes.
You're right. They did preview this before. I didn't get it. Yeah, because it's like Ranger. It's like what Crojack said. It's more Rangery-ish than Rogue-ish, if you will.
We need a good assassin outfit. That's what we need.
And I see the chat rooms talking about that's boring. See, that's the difference. We actually had this entire conversation at one point about the mental state for when people are playing these characters. Some people like to escape, but I like who I am. I just wish I could use swords and cast magic. So
I like playing the underdog.
There you go. So I actually tend to make characters that are me, just swinging swords around because that's always fun. Yeah. I don't care to change my race or do anything else. So that's why I would generally always play humans. Plus, from a D&D side, I always liked humans because when you ever seen the 3x3 grid for the alignments, lawful good, humans are the only race that could be any of them.
Right.
I mean, there's always outliners and stuff like that, but almost every race sort of only fit a handful. Like the elves only did the top layer and sometimes near the neutral. The dark elves were all the evil layer.
Yeah.
They all tended to fit in a very this is your box.
Yeah, EverQuest was based on that. That's how they kind of had the whole races based off of. Like, you could only play evil trolls. You could only play evil ogres. And, they weren't available. There were some races that could do both, like the humans.
Yes.
Right? But for the most part, you could only be, what your race dictated.
Right.
Or you picked human because in D&D, humans got 1 extra feat. And that extra feat helped you in your builds towards certain class combinations.
I played human in Shadowbane because humans got an extra skill point every time they leveled. That's actually probably when I first started playing humans, was just because of the sheer amount of skill points you could get in Shadowbane by playing a human.
Yeah.
It was pretty sick. Anyway, so I think we're all in agreement. I think we're all buying this.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's Elven, so that kind of makes me throw up in my mouth a little bit. But it's armor that's not anime looking, so therefore I want to buy it and support it.
How is my angel wings from my Kickstarter going to come out of that really sweet white and black armor?
You know what would be cool? Actually, that's a great point. What would be cool are the skins. I want to see how the skins interact with like armor like skins. This. Will your face, will your face glow from within? From within that helmet.
Here's the one thing. It depends how they set it up, though. Because...
God, that would be cool.
Stepping back,
is the racial skin a costume, basically?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Because ESO had racial skins as well, but not until later on did they change it as a different cosmetic feature. When you got them before, it took your costume slot. These costumes aren't piecemeal. They are, when you get it, it's a coverall. It does everything.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling if you're putting this on, it's literally going to be a complete coverall. you also have to look at the amount of work it takes to, how do I want to say this, make different meshes work together.
Yep.
Yeah.
Given their team, I think they very well just might make, when you put one of these on, the helmet, you can't remove the helmet, and it's just dark.
There are 4 main skins that came out of Kickstarter and Summer Deal. It was the Angel and Demon, and then the Fire and Ice Elemental.
Yeah, the elementals.
Yeah.
So if they can't just like make them hybridize and work together with other costumes, at least take one element and apply it to like this armor. For example, let's say you are a fire race cosmetic, add some flames coming out the eyes of every helmet, right? Go ahead, slap your other cosmetics on there, but have the fire eyes, have the angel or the demon wings, have just one aspect that translates and combines with every other cosmetic. Or else Kickstarter people aren't gonna buy new stuff.
Actually, when I was looking up this information, they did answer that question.
Oh.
Racial skins are not costumes. This means that armor and character customization is possible on these.
Dude, angel wings coming out of these armor, I can't wait.
And that just solidified me getting the other 2 fire
I am buying these.
and ice skins. All right.
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
we can still buy those, If you're a Kickstarter
you
backer.
can
Your
still buy 'em.
Kickstarter backer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I have both of those, but I'm not going to use them.
Oh, angel, all day long. My wings are never going away.
Wow. Okay. All right.
People are like, I'm in player versus player combat, open world player versus player. I'm gonna shine like a bloody beacon, and everyone can come and attack me. Please, come, let's go.
Come
let's
get
go.
me.
Down.
All right.
Come get me. I'm over there. I'm glowing. Let's go.
I'm the giant ball of light that when you look over, your screen just blanks out. Yeah. Next up, we got the Crown Coach. And this is one of those things, again, I even like this, but I probably won't end up getting it.
It's cool looking.
It is.
They did a good job with that.
It's elegant, but not too garish. So, and again, well, we'll talk about it near the end. You can see how the wood wraps. It looks like vines are roots.
It looks like grown. Like they grew this thing.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I see chat room. So glad I can turn that off because they are going to add that cosmetic turn off function.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. So,
but I know that I'm glowing, and that makes me happy, and that's what matters.
You're gonna blind yourself. You won't even be able to see your own screen.
I'm gonna be so.
It's
bright.
your fantasy. It's not theirs.
Exactly.
There you go. I guess.
Yeah. This one I don't like. I hate Clydesdales. So.
I was gonna say this screams royalty. This screams elven royalty or like barons or something of that nature.
I like it just because it's using horses and not some strange mount. Yeah, I'm telling you. There you go.
Fair enough.
All right.
See, if I was the elves, I would have dwarves pull the thing for me. Because elves in their superiority complex thing going on.
Right.
Usually in elven lore, elves in most fantasies are kind of superior complex.
Yes, they definitely are. Next up, we got the freehold appearance, which is the altar of the venerated.
Okay, just before you even say anything, the scale.
Yes.
How big is this thing? Look at the steps. Look at the tree in the background. Like, this is the other. Remember the Colosseum we had before, the auditorium? Like, how is this supposed to fit on a freehold? How big is a freehold?
I'm wondering if there's different size freeholds. And the other thing I'm thinking of is this. What if freehold spaces are like Arcage's housing zones, where first person who gets there can lay down the biggest plot they have?
Will this take up an entire plot? Will certain freehold objects take up an entire freehold plot, depending on the size?
They did say that. They did say that depending on the size, like your freehold slot was supposed to be like a game of Tetris. You have different slots, like a 12 by 12 grid, and this building is a 4 by 4. Okay, well, where can I put it? And that's how you can align your stuff and determine what you're going to put in it.
In that case, Intrepid, at the maximum tier of availability of business-related buildings, whatever, give me a tavern that takes up my entire freehold. I want maximum tavern real estate for my crowbar.
I'm actually hoping that the
half an acre.
freehold's half an acre. Nice.
Yeah, I want a
that can
half
be
acre
expanded.
tavern. Let's go.
I'm actually really hoping that the temple skin I bought is like that level of grandiose.
Just big.
Yeah, plump it right down. I don't know. This would have to be pretty big, but the only thing I'm worried about is if you had this thing, what functionality are you getting out of this? Is there any?
Religious. Just guessing. There seems to be an altar with water there as a feature, and there's an archway. It seems to be something of religious stature. The statue's facing away from the center of it, the steps leading up to it. But why?
First
and
off,
like you said, what function?
when I look at this is supposed to be Empyrean. Let's actually talk about it. I've been holding my tongue this entire time. Does this not scream Pyrean elves or?
Aren't the Pyrean the
wood elves?
One with nature elves?
Yeah, wood elves.
Okay, so I picture the two races like this. Kind of reminds me of Dragonlance. So one race of elves is one with nature, and they bring themselves among nature, and they tie themselves and weave themselves into nature. The other elf bends nature to their will and forces it into rigid lines and straight lines, and they make nature do what they want as opposed to adapting to nature. So these militaristic elves are building these grand structures in nature, but they're making nature do what they want. They're cultivating the lands, and they're making things very pretty for themselves.
It's just everything I've seen about the Empyreans scream the Greco-Roman.
Yes.
But even this doesn't scream Greco-Roman. This actually kind of reminds me of the Iliad stuff from ESO. Like the pillars and everything like that. And then you have that pillar in the background with the bonsai tree and the waterfall going on.
You say bonsai tree, I say full-grown freaking giant
I mean,
tree.
that's what it looks like.
It looks like one in appearance, yes.
Yeah. Mutant bonsai tree. I don't know. Every time I see it and they keep saying Empyrean, everything made me think the wood elves, not the high elves. But
yeah, that's the difference, right? The high elf, wood elf thing. So what do the wood elves look like? Have we seen a lot of their stuff?
From what I'm gathering, and I mean, each race, yeah, they talked about this, but each race is essentially the same group. Like the Kalar and the Valoon, they're both humans. They're the same kind of human. They just the cultures split at some point, which would make sense. The understanding with the elves is that both, like, it's funny when you look at the elves, like their overarching name was the Pyrean elves.
Yeah.
And then you had the split of Empyrean and Pyri, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like you had the elves at first, and yet the Pyri, who are now an offshoot, remain true to their original, I guess, selves, the wood elves, and then the Empyreans split off from them and still had part of their culture, but they changed it to fit whatever their new path was.
Gotcha.
A good point is made in the chat. Your wood elves wouldn't build something as structured as this. They would be worshiping something within nature itself. The Empyreans are like, no, we're going to build this amazing structure in nature. Have nature involved. We built this thing, and this is our place to worship our gods. That is a bit of a difference between them.
A good example of this would, again, going back to World of Warcraft, is the split between the Night Elves and the High Elves / Blood Elves.
Yeah,
because the Night Elves are all about nature, which is true. And they're both technically the same race. They just split somewhere along the lines. The Night Elves maintain their very druidic society, whereas the High Elves and Blood Elves, well, High Elves are still High Elves, but they split, and they still have nature, but they changed it to the way their culture was, which was magic. So when you go to like Eversong Woods, it's still very naturey, but there's something eerie about it because they infuse it with their magic. They kept nature, but they made it kind of bend it to their own will.
Yeah.
So interesting. I don't think I'll buy this one. So final tally count, guys. How many of these things are you actually going to pick up?
The armor.
The armor, definitely.
The armor.
Yeah.
I'm not a pet person. Never, like, unless the pets pick up loot, Steven, I'm tired of picking up my own loot. Make all pets in the game pick up loot. I don't want to pick up my own loot. Other than that, the armor is just amazing.
The armor
I
is
also
hands down. Go ahead.
I also might pick up the mount.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to pick up the belt. I do like that belt. I know it's an accessory, but I do like the belt. So the belt's a for sure, and the armor's a for sure. I'm fighting around with the idea of the mount because, yeah, it is pretty cool, but yeah. I don't know. I did like a lot of this set, and it kind of hurts me internally. Like, I'm really warring with myself on this one. But, no, it was a cool-looking set. Definitely very cool. And the armor definitely was something that I definitely want to grab.
Good.
Last bit of news we got is July 27th live stream. We're going to recap some of that for you guys really, really quick. And once again, if Margaret's still in chat, I want to give her a shout-out as well because she's awesome. And
does a phenomenal job with the live stream.
Once
the
again,
great
fantastic.
job.
Yep, the format.
Very professional.
No, the format's what I want. Remember how I said earlier where one of the things I would love to see is essentially what Camelot Unchained does with their top 10-ish of the week, where they literally go through the departments and go, what are you working on? They're doing the same thing. Engineering team updates, design team, environment team.
Yeah.
It's the transparency we've been asking for.
This is a beautiful way of doing it. So if I've not said it before, this is exactly what I wanted, just in a live stream format. Because it's definitely cool just to see progress, because so much of everything that we had seen so far was kept behind. We'd see stuff that Steven leaked, but a lot of people are just like, what is your dev team doing? Like, we hear about APOC and what they're doing, but you say half the team's not on APOC. Well, then what are they doing? And this
it was all trust us, right?
And it's like, it's nice to hear about the specific things, like, oh, hey, we're working on the X system, Y system, and working on this and blah blah blah. Yeah, right, exactly. So it's really nice to see stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely very cool. Albeit this month, I will give this little bit of criticism. The Q&As for this live stream were pretty good, but I think we're almost to the point where Q&As are worthless going forward.
Yeah, I was actually thinking the exact same thing. Because, I mean, well, if you've been following Ashes, then Q&As have almost reached the point now where it's... Well, actually, I think they have reached the point where there's pretty much almost no question you can ask that has not been asked in some... Go ahead.
I'm going to argue with both of you.
Go ahead.
On the one specific point that you said, Alpha, where for anyone who's been following this whole time, it's all been rehashed. Those Q&As are needed, not for us. They're not needed for us. They're not for you or I. They're not for people in the Kickstarter who've been following along for a long period of time. This company wants to attract as many new people as possible, and the casual guy who comes in and drops in a live stream might appreciate that information.
Yeah, but I also feel like at this point the questions are getting so elaborate. And elaborate in the sense that they're asking the same question, but how can I rephrase the same question to make it sound different enough to be answered? You know what?
Again, that's fine, because you or I, we can stop watching. We can go and check Shays' notes, by the way. Shout out to Shays.
Oh, yeah. Jeez.
Does great work.
That guy deserves a medal, man.
Yep. We love you to death. We can get the cliff notes and skim through it and go, that's cool, pick them out. But new people can sit there and enjoy the information they haven't seen before.
Yeah. And I link in the description if you want to see his thing. I put it in the notes because he does a great job. So that's the Ashes post. Definitely check out his site for this kind of stuff. Anyway, engineering team updates. They had I don't know if I can pronounce his name, but it's Alex Cadoli. I don't know. He's one of their programmers. He came on and was talking a little bit about what the pro engineering team is working on server polling and networking side for the MMO. It's good to hear, and I guess we'll see when APOC comes out in what?
Yeah,
22 days? 4 weeks from now.
22 days, yeah.
Guys, I just realized that in 3 weeks, we'll be able to do a post show of us playing APOC.
That's right.
Luckily, it comes out. The testing starts before Classic starts. So I can have some fun with it.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, definitely good there, because otherwise it might be hard to jump back into APOC. Yeah. They're also working on doing some benchmarks to test their game out on a wider range of PCs. I guess their goal originally was how Unreal Tournament scales or not Unreal Tournament, Unreal Engine.
Unreal Engine, yeah.
Now I'm just want to play Unreal Tournament. UT 99, baby. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Side story. Before we had any sort of patch management, like 10 years ago, where I was working, which they had it, but they didn't want to pay for it at the company I was working for. So every month we had patching days where it was all hands on deck. But if you've ever patched servers before manually, it's very boring. It's literally click the update, wait for it to update, reboot, and then start any services.
Yeah.
This was originally something that everyone hated until our network admin said, nuh-uh, and set up a UT99 server. And that's what we would have people who were off come into work just to play the UT99 tournaments. And then all of a sudden you'd be like,
that's awesome.
Aggelos has joined the game, play around. Oh, I got to reboot this server now. Aggelos has left the game. Yeah, it was good. Anyway, side story. And they're also working on control points and how they interact with players, respawning mechanics. I wanted to highlight this because we talked about APOC coming back in 3 weeks.
Yep.
And what Alex is saying is that even if the back end stuff is perfect day one, do not expect Castle Siege to be dropped anytime soon.
No, because now they've afforded themselves a buffer, a bigger window to release it, and they can make a better product. If you remember the initial footage we saw of what Castle Siege could look like, and then you saw them shooting the ballista and the catapult and the lighting and all it looked so much nicer.
Yeah.
So they can take their time and actually make a more visually pleasing product than what they might have rushed out before. So I'm cool with it. Take your time, make a nice thing.
Right. Yeah. No, we'll definitely talk about that as well, because there was a few things about the product before that wasn't the best, I guess. And
yes,
the environmental team did a few things with that. But it's neat to see with Alex when he came on talking about control points, and at least that gave us an idea of what they're doing.
Yeah,
with
what they're working on.
Yeah. By the way, is that the same Alex?
That is the Alex that kicks our butt in battle
all
all the time.
Okay.
That's the Alex, I believe.
Got a face to the name.
The guy that we have to ban from every battle royale game.
Yeah.
He knows all the secrets. He knows all the tactics.
Yeah, he made it. I hope so. Anyway, next up, we got the design team came on with J.R. Vasovic. He's one of their senior game designers. Actually talking a little bit about APOC, all right, and what they've actually been doing. Where are we at? Alex is okay. Oh, yeah. I guess I could have showed this earlier as well, but because they've actually been working on a bunch of different stuff. Alex was talking about things they've been working on for the MMO, and I'll have it showed here in a little bit. But they're currently, the entire design team is working primarily on weapon balance, experience, loot, and the UI. We'll get a new UI. I'm excited to see the new UI. Yeah, well, I'm assuming it's going to be the UI. It's the UI for APOC, but I'm assuming they're going to try to use some, if not all of it, to go over
parts of it, elements of it.
The MMO,
Yeah.
And they are working on a new APOC lobby. So I'm going to go ahead and put that picture up on the screen. I'll try to blow that up a little bit, and it's a little difficult to see because of how we took it, but they're also showing some of the more transition screens and stuff like that. The lobby looks pretty cool now.
Okay.
I'm sort of partial to the way it was before.
I miss the ruins in the background and the grass and the trees and all that jazz.
Yeah.
I think I like this one better because I think the things like the mounts and actually specifically the mounts, I think they pop out a little bit more against the black background.
Yeah, it's subjective. It's art subjective.
It's the lobby side anyway. So
I do like the concepts for their loading screens. I like the rotating ring concept. Make it look nicer and more polished. But yeah, that's cool. And I would love to see the burning tree actually be melting and burning in that loading screen.
Someone did animate it. Like someone in the community animated it.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool to see that. So no, that's pretty nice. So having that from the design team was really exciting. Environment team, Devin LaFontaine, one of the senior artists, has been telling about what they're working on different optimizations and redoing the APOC starting zones because they were rushed or put together poorly early on.
Yeah.
I'm going to show a couple images here that we'll talk about as we go along. I guess we should probably do that first.
Yeah.
Let me pull that image up. And I actually didn't show some concept art, but we're going to show some of that here in a little bit as well. Let's see.
Yeah. It looks better. Oh, wait, we don't have it on screen. But
Not yet, but you can look at it. I'm trying
waiting
to
for it.
grab the right one because I think I didn't grab the right one. I think it's 5.
yeah, so to talk about it now, it looks a lot better in that it looks like it's actually livable. Like something was always a little bit off about the older like APOC city and generation. But and I guess I'm looking at it and I'm comparing like my video and stuff like that. You know, they've added trees, they've added
amount of
little
trees.
knickknacks and stuff like that here. Yeah, it looks more filled out, if you will.
Right.
Yeah, it was so empty before.
Yeah.
It was so barren.
Yeah, they showed this as the apocalypse map and what this is supposed to represent. And I think the first APOC map, when they threw it together, they literally were like, here, we got some basic concept. Let's just toss it down in the generator. They're actually trying to make this look like a ruined elven capital that has one of the divine gateways.
Yep.
Which makes me think.
Wait, this is not a ruined elven capital.
No, at this point in history, it's not ruined.
Well,
This should be an actual elven capital, right?
sure.
Yep.
Sure. That's what they're saying, though, is that, you know, elven architecture and trees. I'm actually curious if this will be the start. Like, they're going to take this and they're going to break it for the MMO, and this is where we come in.
Yeah,
Something like
actually,
this. I
that's a
can
good.
see that.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's a
Well,
good
you have to
thought.
remember,
That's a cool thought.
there's different spawn or start locations for I think the different races.
Yeah.
If I recall Steven saying. So this could be, like you said, the elven start zone, but like you said, just busted up and ruined and vines crawling up on everything and dirt.
Yeah.
Has been untouched for thousands of years. You know what I mean?
That
We
would
have
be cool.
4 more images up on the screen that show different areas of it.
Yeah, this looks lived in, like a real place. The hedges are trimmed. There's like seats and benches in places and little pots and stuff. It's nice.
The graphical fidelity looks a lot better, too. Because remember how many times I talked
shading.
about early on saying how everything
The
felt
yellow
fuzzy?
haze.
Well,
Yeah. It does look a lot more clear. I'm even looking at my videos, and there's like a haze that's kind of a slight haze in everything.
Well,
Dude, every time I made a thumbnail, I slapped it into Photoshop and I literally took the yellow and just started taking the yellow out of the image every single time. So much.
first off, two things. One, there's a brilliant program called Reshade that you may want to look into in the future, especially when the game's live. If you don't like a certain color hue, they can strip that out. Just so you know. 2, chat room. They say this game is going to murder my computer. That's why they're working on benchmarks to try to get it to run on all sorts of computers. It won't be as pretty, but it will work. So keep
All
that
the
in
good
mind.
games do that. Your good
Yeah.
MMOs. World of Warcraft
Yeah,
had the ability to scale. ESO has the ability to scale, right? There's sliders for that.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
If you put ESO on the highest
Potato
setting
mode?
and then potato mode, it doesn't even look like the same game anymore. But
Yeah.
yeah. So this is actually, I'm really excited to see this because it's new. They're redoing some stuff in here.
Yes.
Yeah,
I want to
yeah.
explore it.
The next thing,
Oh.
go ahead.
There is one thing about this that I really hope that they do. It's kind of another one of my own personal benchmarks. I don't want to see any of the little annoying bugs in APOC anymore.
Which
Like
ones?
the quests missing what they're supposed to be called and stuff like that. Like it's-
Right, gotcha.
like quests, almost like fillers of stuff like this. I'm expecting to see a more finished product. I'm not expecting it to be perfect,
Mhm.
but I'm expecting to see a far more finished product.
You
Giving
want the UI to be done.
yes,
the
I
user
would
interface
like it
to-
to exactly like the interface and just annoying little things like that to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Right. No, yeah, the quest never really finished. The next thing I have here in the background, which is actually some Pyrian, I don't know, art
The Wood
concept.
Elves.
It's blown up drastically on here, so I forgive the quality, but I'm gonna slowly slide it across the screen for people.
Yeah, now we're seeing the houses amongst the trees and being part of nature.
Oh, these look amazing and kind of remind me of the wood elves in Lord of the Rings. You know, Galadriel and all those areas.
Yes, this is very much more Galadriel than Rivendell.
Yes. Well, and that's the difference that I've seen between the elves. Not to say these elves are like that, but you have the Empyrean elves, which are more akin to the high elves, the Noldors from Tolkien, and then you have the Sindarian elves, the wood elves that are more wood focused. And these, great.
That middle one, actually, those that the first one and the middle one do look like, minus trees, do have like that Greco-Roman feel to it.
There's a bit in there.
Only
Again,
because of the marble.
Race.
Only because of the marble.
Fair enough. Only because of the marble.
Here we go. Walkways in the trees. That's what I'm expecting with the wood elves. Houses in the trees, walkways in between. That's what I'm expecting.
And that one we just saw right there in the swamp, that's the budget house, you know, when you're an elf who's poor. These are pretty neat. Now I have another set. Now those were very small, so they were hard to actually see and gather and all that. Again, thank you, Shaz, for taking the time to put all that together. This next one, however, I'm excited for this next one. I'm going to try to fit it to the screen. This is actually just a concept art showing more of the art for.
Oh, is this from the stream?
Yes.
The black, the
black.
Yeah,
and
these
white.
ones. These, like, this is exactly what I picture. Now, Steven did say, and the developers did say, that the concept of having trees growing amongst and out of these buildings in a game that's supposed to have like these cities popping up and changing all the time is kind of technically complicated.
Unless you built the tree as part of the building structure.
Yeah.
Correct.
And from a lore perspective, they mentioned that these elves have such a control over nature that when their metropolises and their cities evolve, that the trees will grow very quickly because they're magical trees and they have that kind of control over nature.
Right.
Makes sense from a lore perspective.
We have a second image here that we're going to bring up, which is the colored version of this, the colored image. Not of this particular set, but showing a lot of the similar ones. I'm in love with these.
More than the previous set, and there's more sharp angles than I expected to see. More sharp peaks and points than I might have expected with the elves.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's their interpretation of what the wood elves are, so that's totally cool. But it's a new way for me to look at how elves would design things. I'm more used to like softer curves as opposed to like sharp lines.
Right. It looks really, really good. So I'm really liking these. So the next up piece that we have here is the character team with Keith Kovacs, who actually, as he said here, was the very first employee who started at Intrepid Studios.
Yes.
So that's a neat little bit of trivia, if you will. But he came on. He's actually part of the character art team, and he brought on a few pretty neat looking things that I'm going to have here on the screen, or I'm going to try to fit them on the screen anyway, which may or may not work because some of these images are pretty big. Oh, that actually worked pretty well. So what the character team is doing is all MMORPG stuff. Focusing on different races and finalizing their size. So we might actually see more races than humans and elves soon. And you can actually see from this concept that they have here the different racial, like right up there, I'm assuming the one above my head is the dwarven style. Even the art model looks stockier.
Yep.
But I love the armor.
What I also find cool, not sure if it's this image, but it's later on, they show you how the same armor set would be different when worn by a dwarf or a human. They show that image.
Yes,
I'm not
they
sure
do.
It might be the next one.
Yeah.
Because again, they need to make all their cosmetics, all their armor sets. If an elf picks it up or a human or an orc, it has to be slightly different to fit their frame. So I'm glad they're taking that into account and they're starting to animate that, draw that, and do that.
I think you guys have an image that I don't have.
I remember seeing it in the stream.
It might have been there and not caught because I didn't have it from here, but I might have to go back and look for that one now because I don't have that image, which makes me sad.
It's okay.
That's okay. But they are working on the way, as they said, they're working on the way armors appear on the different races, with different racial traits, how armor appears on, depending on if you have fat characters or thin characters.
Yeah, I forget about that too, right? Because you like you said, fat, thin, and the armor has to fit.
Right.
Good times.
This is actually one of the reasons why Final Fantasy XIV isn't doing any more character races. They don't want to model armor for all the different races.
They'd have to go back. Oh, wow. That'd be annoying.
He actually looked, when he was talking about it, he did not look too thrilled because he's like, you have to go over every single armor piece that exists. If it's available for him, you have to model it to him.
Oh, that's frustrating. That's a lot of work.
It is. It is. Anyway, and the last thing that was shown was the work on a particular beast that most people may know, I think. It's a dragon. It's
a dragon.
It's an actual dragon.
Are you sure it's not a wyvern?
I don't know, maybe.
I'm kidding, it's a dragon.
Actually, I did have we had this same argument on our Tales of Tamriel show because they were doing the Season of the Dragon. And yet all the dragons in ESO don't have front legs.
Yeah.
So characteristically, they're not dragons. They're wyverns.
Yep.
Really big wyverns, but they're wyverns, not dragons.
The shape of this dragon screams Dragonlance and Dungeons and Dragons to me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's a little bit different. Some spiky neck stuff going on. The neck's a bit thinner or thicker, whatever. It's all a bit different. But Serpentine, this could fit in your traditional Dungeons and Dragons world or your Dragonlance world or your Forgotten Realms world, ones that are literally built off of D&D. Right. So it's a traditional fantasy dragon appearance.
Right. Definitely could. But they've been working on this, and as well as you can see the model for the whatever the Nakua mount is, the otter. Do we want to talk about the little... Yeah, let's do that. So they also kind of let loose that these are technically wormlings.
Mm-hmm.
And that if you are a castle owner, as a guild leader, you can grant little wormlings to your guild officers.
So, I don't know... I was watching Jeff's face when Steven said that, and Jeff faced kind of like a Twitch thing. So I'm not sure if Steven was ready to divulge that particular information or whether he should have, but the cat's out of the bag now, baby.
Well, definitely. I love it. There it is. So the last bit is a Q&A session, but we're actually already over time. So I think we might just have to do the Q&A another time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because we're already past time at this point. So that is a show, ladies and gentlemen. And I definitely want to thank all of my awesome co-hosts. We got Alpha Soul at _Alpha_Soul. Check out all of his Ashes of Creation news. And of course, Mr. Crojack. Follow him Twitch, YouTube, Twitter.
All of it.
All of it. Yes.
MySpace, Tumblr, ICQ, AOL, AIM. Well, that one's gone. Isn't AIM gone?
No, I'm still there.
I thought it was going down. Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
I was waiting for you to be like, Tinder. Like,
wow, I've been happily married for like forever.
No, not for you, Mr. Crojack, the character. You don't know.
Oh, so I have like a. I gotcha. All right. So I'll make a persona.
Yeah,
Mr. Crojack.
Mr. Character. I mean, maybe he's lonely or he needs an extra set of hands to run the crowbar. Can I make him look like
a Spanish god? Like just this chiseled Spanish dude, and we'll call him Mr. Crojack, and it'll be my Tinder account for funsies. I don't know.
Yeah, you could do that, but you'll probably only get messages from crazy people named Gus. So
from Uncle Gus.
From Uncle Gus. Anyway, you can follow everything we do over at DungeonCrawlerNetwork.com. There you'll find links to all of our social media, including Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Be sure to check out our Patreon program at patreon.com/DungeonCrawlerNetwork. If you want to help support the show, you can also do that by leaving us a 5-star review on iTunes so people know that we are a real podcast, that we say real words. Sometimes they matter. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of From the Ashes. We'll see you next time.